Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the Washington Commanders signing veteran receiver slash returner Alex Erickson. I'll talk about if I think he will make the final 53-man roster, what his role will be in the offense, and if he could be our punt returner slash kick returner. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. I'm about 50 subscribers away from 7,500 subs, so please help me get there. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, and go ahead and follow the Twitter. Link is in the description. Now let's get right into the video. Okay, so earlier today it was announced that the Washington Commanders signed returner slash receiver Alex Erickson, and yes, he was a former Carolina Panther, but he has no connection to Ron Rivera. Like, he didn't play under Ron Rivera. He played for Carolina this past season, but before then he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. So real quick, let's go over. So this is what Ben Stanek had to say. The 6-year vet has extensive experience as a punt returner and 96 career receptions. Yes, he played for Carolina, but that was last year and not under Rivera. So this is the first non-Rivera related free agent they've signed, and that is true. Like, all the players that they've signed or re-signed obviously played for Ron Rivera before, with Andrew Norwell, Efe Obada, and Trey Turner, and then of course everyone that they re-signed. So this is the first player that did not play for Ron Rivera before, but he still played for the Carolina Panthers. So we're still the Commanders, I guess, but I have no issue with it. And I think, we'll see. Alex Erickson is going to have a chance to make this roster as a returner slash receiver. He returned at least 20 punts during each of his 6 seasons, 5 with the Bengals, averaged 9 yards per return or punt return on 23 attempts last season, only 9 kick return attempts since 2018, but had plenty of reps there during his first 3 seasons. So this guy is a returner, through and through. Yes, he can play a little bit of receiver for you, but he's going to be primarily your punt returner. And some people, including myself, were like, when we picked Jahan Dotson, thought, hey, maybe he could be the returner, and maybe he can still be that guy. But at the same time, you don't really want to put your first round pick out there a lot, because especially at the punt return position, like, you can get injured really easily, and sometimes even it can mess with your head. So I think that they might just not want to put him out there, risk him being injured. They don't want to put him out there on special teams. Maybe he will, though, because he did it in college at a pretty high level. But bringing in Erickson gives someone else the chance to be that punt returner slash kick returner. Same thing with Dax Milne. He could do it for sure. They have Danny Johnson, who really can't be a punt returner, but he could be a kick returner for you. So real quick, let's look at Alex Erickson. So played from 2016 to 2021. From 2016 to 2020, he played with the Cincinnati Bengals. And one great thing about him, you can see this right here, never missed a single game. 16 every year until this past season, where they had 17 games per season. And honestly, he didn't contribute a ton as a receiver, but he contributed a little bit. I mean, you see, he had one big year with the Bengals where he had 529 yards. The other years it was kind of like 150, 170, and this past year only had 3 catches. But he can add a little bit if you need him to. But if Washington does keep him on the roster for the 53-man roster, hopefully he really doesn't have that much production on offense, because that means our guys are healthy. If he has this production 500 plus yards, that probably means Terry or someone else is hurt, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But he definitely can add a lot as a returner, because he's a pretty good returner. And also, let's see, was used a little bit as a runner as well. 18 career carries for 78 yards and threw a pass as well. But you look at the kick returns, had 2 returns last year, 57 yards, 29 yards per return. That's pretty good. Very small sample size though. Year before, 3. So when he was punt returning, 2018, 40 returns for 26 yards. That is elite right there. That is very, very, very good right there. And he didn't have a single fumble. Not not great in 2017, but you also have to consider like where he, returned it from. If he was returning it at like the 4 or 5 and, he returned it average 21 yards, then that's pretty good. But obviously most of them probably got caught in the end zone. And then 2016, he averaged 28 yards per return with 29 total returns. So like this guy can be a very good kick returner. Like the years, he had 3 years where he was their primary kick returner, and in those 2 out of those 3 years he was elite at it, with averaging over 26 and then 28 basically yards per return. That is very, very good. And that means your average starting field position is probably at like the 29-30 in 2016 on kickoffs. So that is pretty good. I mean, very, very good. And then you look at the punt returns, not amazing, but pretty solid this past year. 23 returns, averaged 9 yards per return, which is pretty solid. Didn't have a single fumble. 2020 averaged 10.1 yards per return, had 1 fumble, 3 fumbles in 2019. And so I don't know. I don't think these are fumbles lost, but still though, he's lost 6 fumbles in his career. So honestly, that is not bad. That's including punt returns and kick returns. 6 fumbles, in 6 seasons. So basically 1 per year. You don't want that, but I guess you can live with that. As long as it's not more than 1. 1 is really it, because more than 1 really can kill you. I mean, we saw what happened with Steven Sims. Like the effect that his punt returning had on this team was not good at all. I don't even want to bring that up because, that cost us multiple games. Like that Panthers game, he I forgot what happened, but I think he fumbled the punt return and they scored a touchdown on the punt return. So, having solid punt returners is very, very beneficial for you as long as he's okay. As long as he's okay, that's good enough. You just want someone that can give you the fair catch, and when there's time and space, he can get you 5 to 15 yards, and that's what you want. Yes, it would be great to have an elite punt returner, but I just want a guy that can field, knows when to field it too. That's an important thing as well. Like DeAndre Carter, guys, last year, I'm just going to keep it real with you, and I was saying this last season, or during the season, he was not a good punt returner. Like, he bobbled a few balls, but, he didn't lose any, but he misread it a lot of times. Like, he would, field the ball when he shouldn't have, and sometimes he would let it go when he probably should have returned it. I noticed that a lot last year. He was a very, very good kick returner, though, but if you look at the numbers, Alex Erickson was a pretty solid kick returner, so I think he has, he's obviously the favorite to be the kick returner and punt returner. And let me pull it up right here. You look at the receiver depth chart, like it's pretty top heavy with Terry, Curtis, and then Jahan Dotson. Like those guys for sure are making it. Terry, Curtis, Jahan Dotson, and then De'Ami Brown, as long as he looks okay in training camp. He has like a 95% chance of making it. He's making it, so that's 4 right there. Cam Sims, very likely going to make it. So that's 5 receivers right there that, as long as nothing crazy happens, those 5 will be making the roster and contributing this year. And then they'll probably keep 6, 7 receivers. I think last year they kept 8 with Dax Milne and DeAndre Carter. But let's say they keep 7. So you already have 5 guys right there. Dax Milne could make it as a 6th. I think they like him. They invested a 7th round pick in him. So then you're looking at Alex Erickson possibly battling it out for that last spot. Jaquez Ezzard, undrafted free agent. Or if they keep 6, then it's going to be a competition, really, in my opinion, between Dax Milne and Alex Erickson to see who can be that returner. But Erickson obviously has the edge because he's done it in the NFL. Like his job the last 5-6 years really has been a returner, with like 1 or 2 years where he actually was a part of the offense. So he has the leg up. Like Dax Milne, I don't know if he might have done a couple punt returns for us this past season, but I don't think so. So like he doesn't have much experience. He didn't do it much in college either. So like I don't think he's the option there. I think they brought Alex Erickson in for a reason, because they need a returner. But let's say Alex Erickson doesn't make the team, then you could have Dax Milne as your punt returner and Danny Johnson as your kick returner, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Like as long as they don't fumble and they know when to field it or when to not field it, that is all good with me. Just can't have fumbles. That's the biggest issue with me. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know what you guys think about the move, and if you think he will make the roster, and if you think he'll be our returner. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.